Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for people who are really good lawyers. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler, a really good lawyer.
Tyler, have any good cases this week you want to discuss?
Oh, some great cases, but I'm not at liberty to discuss all these amazing cases, Cody. They're so good, though. Just know, Cody, look at me.
You sound like a real lawyer right now.
They're so good, but I'm not at liberty to discuss anything.
Oh, man. Tyler, tell us all about the title of the movie we watched.
We watched Spider-Man, No Way Home. Sorry. Let me redo that one. Sorry. Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Excellent. Tyler, this movie's hot right now.
It's hot.
This movie, blowing up the chart. It's spicy hot, you know?
Spicy.
It's like ghost pepper hot, all right? I was going to say habanero, but I couldn't deal. I couldn't deal with you butchering the pronunciation, you know?
The habanero.
The habanero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been there.
But not quite Carolina Reaper hot? Is that what you're saying to me?
What's the other name for, like, basically the same thing as a habanero? Scotch bonnet. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it that. Scotch bonnet. Tyler, tell me. Look, we've already talked about how hot this movie is. Tell me about how did it do for you? You know. Oh, do you want to explain what it is?
I'll explain the film, Cody.
All right.
If you shut your face, I'll explain this film. All right. This is a film about Spider-Man. Okay. In the wake of Mysterio being Mysterio, we all knew Jake Gyllenhaal was a tool from the beginning. Okay.
Because Taylor Swift wrote that song about him.
Exactly. Okay. And if Taylor Swift writes a song about you, you're a bad person. That's what we know. Okay. He's out here. He's saying Spider-Man killed the president or whatever. I don't know. With drones. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they're out here. Everybody doesn't like Spider-Man anymore. Okay. Also, Daredevil's the lawyer, but that's a secret. Don't tell nobody about it. All right. He's a really good lawyer, though. He's so good. Okay. He's so good that he's only in the movie for a second. All right. And they're out there, they're doing it. Then there's Doctor Strange. Whoop, he's doing some strange magic. We all loved that movie, didn't we, Cody? Strange Magic, animated movie. Fun stuff, Cody. He does some stuff, then some stuff goes down, and then everybody, all the Spider-Man is there. Now, you look me in the eye and you tell me that's not a perfect description of this movie.
It's good. It's good. I mean, it's a little spoilery, isn't it? A little early.
Spider-Man's there, Cody.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're going to tell me Tom Holland's not in the movie? Because that's what somebody tried to tell me, but he's there.
Tom Holland, you're right. Tom Holland is in the movie. From the trailer, I wasn't sure. I was looking at it. I was like, I don't know if he isn't going to be in this one, but then he was.
Okay, I have a gripe.
Yeah.
When you open an image in New Tab, I want it to be bigger. When it opens the exact
Google Images
same size,
is broken now. It's ruined. Like, it used to be this amazing place where you could steal free images. It was a place for the people. And now it's useless. It's basically useless.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. What do we got on here? I'm looking at the poster, Cody. We got the Spooter. We got the Green Arrow. We got Doctor Strange. We got Zendaya. We got Cable. And
What?
Black Silhouette Man.
That's
and
my favorite Spider-Man
the
villain.
tentacles from War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
So that's who's in this movie.
Wow. Tyler, let me tell you. I'm just going to hop right in here. I'm going to give you my first impression of this movie.
Oh,
All right?
give it to me.
Fantastic. I'm just going to say it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the best Spider-Man movie ever or the second best. And the only reason I say this is Into the Spider-Verse was so fantastic. But it's right that I don't know which one's better. I can't decide. It was great. Everyone I've talked to loved this movie. All right, everyone in the theater loved this movie. It was It was an experience. All right. There's a reason this movie's hot. It's because it's hot.
Steamy.
I dare you. I dare you to say anything different. What did you?
It's good. I'll say something different. I think it's better than Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Wow. It's a take almost as hot as the film.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Charlie, you look like you're sleuthing.
I'm doing a little bit of sleuthing, and you're drawing
What do you got
attention
up your
to
sleeve? I didn't do nothing.
What? I specifically didn't read through any of the things because I was like, he always gets mad at me. He always gets all so up in a tizzy when I look at the fun facts before.
Yeah. Here, I'll tell you a secret. Listeners, close your ears for a moment.
Oh.
I have done no research on this movie whatsoever. No. All right. I'm coming in fresh. I'm coming in clean. Coming in hot. All right. So if you want to look at the trivia, you just do it. You do it for me.
Gonna have to do it then. I would say this movie's.
Have you looked at the box office? Because I've already looked at the box office.
I have.
Roles? Oh, never mind. Tyler, I'm be honest. I'm ready to get into it.
Oh. Okay.
And I don't know if you are.
I've been ready, but I mean, like, are you ready? Do you want to just pop off right now? Just, Cody.
I think there's nothing else to do but to pop off.
Cody, get on my Green Arrow glider. The classic Green Arrow with his glider, from the DC Comics in this Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah.
Get on my glider right now. We're going to fly away into the spoiler town, the spoilerverse. All right,
so that we can. Or is it?
Oh, am I going for? You sounded like you were about to start. That's why I brought us here to Spoiler Town. All right.
I'll go. Like, I don't have anything to say, but I'll go.
I mean, I have stuff to say. It's just like you threw the sleuth roll at me, and now I'm like, do I need to sleuth? But you know what, Cody? You know what? I don't even care about you and your dreams anymore. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. All right, I'm setting up my timer, so you shush. I'm going, okay? It's happening. 3, 2, 1. All right, Cody. So here's the thing. Before I forget, they're wanting to go to school, all right? They live in New York, okay? Because this is Marvel where they say the names of the cities. Okay, they don't come up with some weird, dumb name for cities. They're in New York City. Where they want to go, Cody? Boston. Where did I saw this movie? Boston, all right? I saw it in downtown Boston, all right? Everybody, when they said, we'll be in Boston, I could go around Boston. They have crime in Boston, right? When I tell you the nervous laughter that echoed, just slowly rippled through the theater. When they said they have crime in Boston, right? It was like dead silence. And then one guy went, and that kicked it off. Of like, yes, there is crime in Boston. Fun fact, can confirm crime does exist in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, so that was everybody's favorite part, was that they were so excited to go to Boston because we were in Boston watching the movie. Okay, that's most of this experience. Okay, now here's what I'm gonna do in a crazy twist, Cody. I'm gonna use some of my rant to call out AMC. Bay City Center South or whatever. I don't know. I saw this movie in IMAX. No reclining seats. Get it together, AMC. Okay, get it together. I can't even tell you how uncomfortable I was. Mildly. There, I told you. Okay, Cody. All these people out here, like, did you have it spoiled to you that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they were in the trailer, you farts. They were in the trailer for the movie, okay? It's not really a spoiler when it's like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are set to reprise their roles as Spider-Man and Spider-Man respectively, okay? That's part of the marketing for the movie, all right? So I understand you didn't watch any of the trailers, so you're thinking it's a spoiler. I don't think counts as a spoiler if Marvel spoils it, it doesn't count as a real spoiler. There, I said it. It's a hot take. Cody, look me in the eye when I give you these hot takes. Hot take. I liked the movie. I love Doctor Strange. I'm excited for the Multiverse of Madness. I liked that he was casting the spell and there was a Spider-Man and he was sitting there and he was like, oh, and this person needs to remember. Oh, and this person needs to remember. And he's like, stop changing the spell. Freaking, he gonna hit him with his ring hand, Cody. He said, so help me, I will turn this spell around. All right. And that's what he had to do. He contained it in the cube, which I feel like they've used that cube before, but in a different movie, but also at Disney, not like Disney cartoony, like kids movie. I feel like they used that exact same cube. So if you remember what that's been used in before, let me know. Tweet at Cody, or Cody can just tell me. I cried, Cody. I cried during this movie when Andrew Garfield saved MJ. I blubbered like a child. I was like, oh, God. Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man. That's a fun fact for you right there. Hashtag fun fact, Andrew Garfield, best Spider-Man ever. There's a scene in that Spider-Man where a guy pulls a knife on him and he goes, oh no, you found my weakness, very small knives. Come on, man. And he webs him. And that's what he says to him. And it's so freaking funny. It makes me laugh every single time. It's so good. It's the best. It is the most Spider-Man moment of any Spider-Man movie ever. I think this movie is roughly $1 billion better than Into the Spider-Verse. And that's a fact that you cannot deny, Cody. You can't deny that fact because it made $1 billion more. It said, I see you, Spider-Verse. I'm going to take what you're doing and I'm going to make it $1 billion better. Okay? That's what it did. That's what it did, Cody. I got so excited I struck my microphone. Cody, there will be complaints to our HR department by my microphone stand because of that statement, all right? Tobey Maguire looks old. It's just a statement. It's just a fact. He looks old. Tiffany made me watch a video where Tom Holland does a Rihanna music video dance. He did the lip sync. Have you seen this video, Cody? You've seen it. I can't look at Tom Holland the same anymore. He's permanently an adult in my mind now. He's a grown man, and I cannot see him as a child. So when they were like, I was like, okay, so he's like in between senior year and college right now. And then they're like, first day of senior year. It's like, nope. It's not first day of senior year. That's a grown man.
All right, Tyler. Hey, look, your time's up. All right, you had a good run. It is over. How dare you, sir? And now, as everyone's favorite time, you gotta zip it, all right? Because it's my turn. It's my time, all right? I'm Tobey Maguire, and it's my time again, all right? You thought my time was over? No, it's back, and I'm going, and it's starting. Tyler, you're out here. You think you're the only one who went to IMAX and didn't see this in a recliner? Because your boy did too, all right? I rolled up to the Legends, AMC at the Legends. I've seen movies. Here's what's crazy about this. They have recliners in their other theaters, but it's like the AMC recliners, not like the signature awesome recliners that are in like the plush theaters, you know, the fancy theater. Anyway, we saw an IMAX, no recliners, blew my mind as well. I was like, oh, I'm not a peasant, you know, this is not how I see my IMAX movies. And look, we rolled up we booked tickets a few days ahead of time, and it was full almost, you know, so we didn't have the best seats. We went back to our seats were taken. We were like, what is going on? I had to go to this nice like Latino man and try to be like, hey, I think you're in our seats. Like, what seat are we in? This dude's seat was way better than our seat. Like the person we were with were like, I felt bad kicking him out of his seat, and then I saw that his seat was way better. Like he was like 12 rows ahead of us, like way up and like towards the front. I was like, this guy out here settling for so much worse. Also, it wasn't even close. Like, our seats were like P15. His was like J4. I was like, where is the mix-up here? I don't even know. You're on the wrong side of the theater, sir. Anyway, we found our seats. That's the moral of the story. It took a minute and a half to say, I found my seat to this movie. I sat down. It was a very stressful experience. A lot went wrong. They were out of soap in the bathroom. I used a lot of sanitizer. It was very uncomfortable, okay? Anyway, Bailey said this is her favorite Spider-Man movie, her favorite like Marvel movie. Super, she loved it. I was so pleased because sometimes she likes them, sometimes she loves them. She loved this one. Every cameo, so many cameos. So happy to have cameos left and right. Here's the thing. This is why this movie I don't want to say it's better than Spider-Verse because Spider-Verse was like perfect. Okay, it was amazing. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I've come to terms with it. Maybe I have to watch this one again. I do want to watch it again. They just pay. It was cool. Here's what's cool about this movie. It's not the normal save the world stuff. It wasn't about saving the world like every Marvel movie normally is, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like, what are you gonna do? Not save the world? Let's save the world. It's a good movie plot. But this one, it's about redeeming the villains. It's about redeeming the Andrew Garfield. It's about giving people another chance. You know, it's a different way. We're not beating up the bad guy. We're redeeming the bad guy. Loved it. So great. Brilliant. I was surprised. I thought this was going to be one of those movies with like 6 screenwriters. There were like 2 dudes. I was like, 2 dudes? Good job. Great job. High fives all around. I'll just tell you my favorite quip. And I will agree with you. Andrew Garfield may be the best Spider-Man. He was fantastic. I like Mark Webb. He's the director of those ones. It was a bummer they didn't get more movies. Like, they were good movies. They weren't amazing. Well, they weren't amazing. Okay. All right. It's called The Amazing Spider-Man. And they're good movies. The best part of the movie is just that Andrew Garfield's so good at being Spider-Man. When he said, Peter number 3 in this movie, I died. I loved it. Bailey and I just died. All right? He's great. He's the quippiest. He's the best. This is what I'm worried for, okay? You know, at the end of every Marvel movie, it's always like, hey, this person will return. They did not say that Spider-Man's going to return. And, like, of course, they're going to do another movie with Tom Holland after this movie, but here's the problem with this. The way they ended this film, it could either be, like, you know, it's either going to be Tom Holland as Peter Parker, fresh new start, or it's going to be Peter Parker has left the MCU and now Sony's doing whatever they want with him. If you think about it, like, they essentially erased him from all the Avengers' minds. They took him more or less out of the MCU if they don't want to have him in there. That's what's kind of wild about it. And I know Kevin Feige was like, we are super excited for our plans for Spider-Man. It's going to be great. And then like 3 days later, the Sony president was like, I don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens. You're like, dude, you suck. I hate the Sony president. I hate him. You know? I can't stand it. It's like, play nice. Be nice to each other. You guys just made $1 billion together, so can you play nice? Like, why can't we just have nice things, you know? Someone in the theater, when Tobey Maguire gets stabbed, you know, he doesn't die, which is great. I'm glad for. He got stabbed. Someone in the row behind me said, Toby, no. He said it and he meant it from the bottom of his heart. And I was like, oh, that poor man, that poor man's going to die. Like, he is going to pass out. He's going to have a heart attack and he's not going to make it out of this movie theater. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's my rant. Questions. Criticisms.
I gotta cut you off, Cody.
Oh.
Cut you. Did you have people cheer when each of the Spider-Mans showed up in yours?
Oh, they lost it.
Oh, yeah.
They were thrilled. And it made me happy. Like, because normally I only get that reaction if I go opening night. And this was like a few days after opening. And the crowd was great. And I loved it. I was happy that people were into it.
For reference, I went to go see it last night, which is the 1st of January, 2022. Quite a while after its release date. Mm-hmm. People still were cheering.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the theater was still full.
Bailey had to sit by like the loudest man I've ever, maybe second loudest man I've ever sat next to in a movie theater. This dude was having a night. He was like hacking into napkins and coughing. He was like pulling out all kinds of different things to unwrap throughout the movie. I was like, who are you? What is happening? Are you choking? I don't know what you brought with you, but you chose the wrong snacks because it sounds like you're dying over there. It was wild. It was wild. Just like, imagine if you gave a toddler like fruit roll-ups in the middle of a dark movie theater, you know, to unwrap themselves, except it's like a 50-year-old man. Like, I don't know how it happened, but it did. It's quite the crowd. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's my other thing.
Give me your thing.
You didn't see Venom 2, did you?
Nope.
I'm mad. I'm mad because I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. But there's an end credit scene. There's an end credit scene at Venom, and the stinger is, hey, Venom has been like transported. What's his name?
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock has been transported to Peter Parker's universe. And so like it shows him waking up in his hotel room and like time has passed or he's in a different world. We know it's like a multiverse thing. So he goes, it's his hotel room, but it's not his hotel room, and the news is playing, and I think it's like the Mysterio news maybe. So it's like, oh, he's in the same universe as Tom Holland Spider-Man. This is amazing. So that's the stinger at the end of Venom. It's like, oh, what are they gonna do, right? And then they do nothing with it all movie, and then the end of the movie is just like, see, he's there. And then he gets blipped away, and it's like, okay. And anyway, Venom was left behind a little bit, or some of him was, or, whatever.
Just a little bit.
I was so mad. I was like, is it going to be a Sinister Six thing, or is Venom going to be a villain in this movie, or is it going to be like, what's it going to be? And then it was just nothing. I was like, that's Sony. You burned me twice. I'm mad at you. Still mad about it.
Yeah.
Finally, go ahead.
Well, I saw a thing where they had talked about having him that had been kicked around as having him in that final fight. But I think the problem is Venom, usually, if he appears in the Spider-Man comics, was like a villain,
Right.
But in his own
comic,
like in his own, he's like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So that's something they always have a hard time in the comics, is saying like, well, so they have to have him trying to do a good thing, but like killing people. So Peter's trying to stop him from killing people while he's trying to do a good thing. But that's hard to do in the movies, where it's like, but Eddie Brock's a good guy.
Especially in this movie. Like, it would totally work if that was the focus of the movie, if it was a Spider-Man Venom movie. But when you're already bringing in 6 other villains from different Spider-Verses and having to pay off their stories, it wouldn't make sense to be like, okay, anyway, we've never introduced Venom and Spider-Man together. Well, except they did. They did in the Tobey Maguire one. So they either had to use that Venom or they had to use the Eddie Brock Venom. So it's like that would have been, so they would have had to figure out the connection there.
Yeah. So it's yeah, I mean, I think it would have made it a little too messy to bring him in, and that's, I think, why they finally just said, we'll just have a stinger dedicated to him.
So is there a deal struck? Are they allowed to be in the same city again? Like, what does that even mean?
I did see, in like the trivia and everything, and I remember this being a big thing, that Tom Holland was a big driving force of making sure this movie happened, and like kind of forcing Sony and Disney to sign a contract allowing Spider-Man and Peter Parker to be in the MCU for a long time.
Yeah.
But they say it's like, oh, he can be in the MCU and in Sony's own Spider-Man. So I'm like, so are they just going to continue doing separate things? So where it's like, here's the thing.
So there's going to be a Sony Spider-Man movie, and then Peter Parker will just pop up in the next Avengers and help out a little bit. Like, what does that even mean? Which,
Maybe.
Like I said, they staged it perfectly so that if he wants to leave, if Sony wants to keep him out of the MCU, they can, because no one knows who he is anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
They had talked about recasting Spider-Man and stuff. And,
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't see why. Like, it doesn't seem like Tom Holland is... He's never been like they didn't recast Chris Evans when he was like, I hate being Captain America. Every single movie. He's like, I hate it. Captain America sucks. Doing this job sucks. Fire me. I beg of you. Fire me, please.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
But isn't that the
recast
difference
him.
between Sony and... Because Sony's bungled Spider-Man. They're like, Spider-Man, great. Spider-Man 2, great. Spider-Man 3, eh. And like, okay, we're rebooting in a couple of years. And it's like, Andrew Garfield, oh, we cast him great. Movies are good. They're not fantastic, but they're good. Like, they're good movies. And like, whatever. Let's just reboot. Like, they're very trigger-eyed with the rebooting, whereas MCU, with they've recast people, but they haven't recast, like, their major people,
Yeah.
They haven't because Iron Man, Captain America, that was the start of the MCU, Like, they've written their contracts pretty carefully, it seems, and they've really kept those people close to the vest. And like, no, these are our people,
Yeah. So I don't see them actually recasting him. Here's what I think. I think Sony would love for him to not be Spider-Man anymore, because they've hitched their Uncharted franchise to him. And as long as he's Spider-Man, he's going to be very expensive to play Nathan Drake.
Right. But I mean, once you've been in 2 successful Spider-Man movies and all the Avengers, Tom Holland's price is going to go up.
Yeah.
That's just weird, though. But they got him so young. Like, and he looks the part of like a young Peter Parker. Like, whereas Andrew Garfield do you do the high school thing or the college thing, and they bounce back and forth? But Tom Holland's like a small man, so he looks like the young part. So they cast someone young who looks young. Like, why wouldn't they cash in on that for as long as they could?
So
Because it's not just the Spider-Man name. The Spider-Man name has a lot of value, but like the franchise is also valuable because it's like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not do as well as this. This movie is like shattering. It's the only pandemic movie to actually like exceed expectations, right? Like no other pandemic movie. Like there have been pandemic movies where, like, oh, this performed well. This one was like, oh, this is doing as well as if like the pandemic hadn't even happened, and even better than that. Like
yeah. I just wish Sony would take a second to realize that just because there's a lot of PlayStations doesn't mean they're as big of a company as and have the resources of these other companies. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the like I don't know. It always like amazes me the like fire and fury they come at like Disney with the Spider-Man stuff. And then I see it a lot because I'm into like video game news stuff, and the way they come at Microsoft as a company, not even Xbox, Microsoft. And it's like, look, Sony, you are a small potato. Any of these companies that you're like, we do what we want, you listen to us. Any of those companies could hostile take over you in a weekend. Okay, so you need to learn to
Chihuahua
step off.
of the media companies.
So I'm like, just like accept the fact that you have somehow swindled your way into Disney paying the most, like the lion's share of production costs, and you taking the lion's share of like profits from a movie, and just be like, here's Spider-Man, we'll come for our $500 million check every couple of years.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they think they know better. And because eventually like Kevin Feige's already reached the point at least once where he's like, all right, fine, screw you guys. And that's like why Tom Holland is like a big thing, because he was like, no. And like became very vocal on like social media and like got a lot of fans on board to force them to go back to negotiations. Because like Disney already said, fine, screw you guys at least once.
Yeah.
Can you believe
it just seems like you can both make more money because you cast the right person and you've built that right. Like, let's have Spider-Man get more than 3 movies because he's got the juice to do it,
Yeah.
Let's not, because like you said, Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man. So it really sucks that Sony didn't play their cards right and like get more out of that.
Well, it's almost
NFL,
like they,
it's like get your franchise quarterback and keep him and protect him,
Yeah. How long is the Sony owning Spider-Man? Is it forever?
I don't even know, man.
Because it's got to be a deal, right? Like a rights deal.
Right. Well, it is the rights deal, so I don't know if there is like a price tag on it. I think they just buy the Spider-Man rights. How long do you own those for?
I'm looking it up.
Are you doing research?
Yep.
According to this, they have the movie rights. According to this guy, Daryl, on Quora.
Oh, you were also looking at Daryl. I'm looking at Daryl as well. So they just own the movie rights to him. Because that's a real heartbreaking thing. Oh, okay. That's right. They own him as long as they keep making movies. So if they like didn't, so I wonder if that's why they keep doing this. Because if they don't, I wonder if they're worried about Disney kind of like swindling them into a situation where they can legally argue that Sony has not made a Spider-Man movie in like 5 years, so that the rights go back to Marvel. Because I'm sure Marvel would love to do that.
Sony bought Spider-Man, the rights for Spider-Man, film rights, for $7 million in '98.
Did you see the part where they were offered for the exact same price, I think, or maybe a little bit more, the entire Avengers? Like, all of the movie rights, basically.
Really?
Yeah. And they were like, nah, we just want Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah, they could have owned all of MCU stuff, but then MCU wouldn't be a thing. They would have done what they do now.
Sony sold back the merchandising rights in 2011. That's
Nice.
wild.
It's a crazy situation because, I mean, if you think about, like, I mean, if I'm an executive at Sony, I've got to view this as, like, nothing else compares to Spider-Man in value as far as what they own.
You're right. I mean, yeah, you're right. This is wild. So Sony gets 95% of the box office revenue. Marvel gets all 100% of merchandising. So that means Marvel at the time would only have 5% box office. 2019, they renegotiated. So the 50-50 box office split. And 50-50 film funding, too.
Yeah. Cause, do you remember back in when they were having trouble getting Far From Home decided on? Like the original deal was basically like Marvel funded the movie and Sony got 95% of the ticket sales.
That's wild. Yeah.
So it was basically Marvel just like, please let us make a Spider-Man movie. You guys suck at making movies.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be fair, Sony does kind of stink at making movies. But they made a lot of good ones at one time.
But Into the Spider-Verse was amazing. And the Spider-Man games are good. So,
but those aren't Sony.
Sony didn't. I thought Sony did Into the Spider-Verse.
I think it was still like Marvel controlled and like did it though. So I think it's like, well, I think it's like they did it, but it's the same way of like, oh, they technically made all of these Spider-Man movies. But let's see. Production companies, Marvel. I mean, Marvel was involved in the Into the Spider-Verse.
Wow. What'd you say about Spider-Verse?
Marvel was involved in it. So, I mean, like, they're on the list of production companies and everything.
Yeah. But, I mean, technically, they're on the bill anytime Marvel characters are used, too.
But they don't have to be on there for Spider-Man because they don't own the rights for Spider-Man anymore.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
so, I don't know. I don't know who's going to play nice or who isn't. I was a little... The other thing I thought was kind of a ripoff was the end credit scene.
the
For
very
this one, too. The final one, because it's just a
Just a
Doctor
trailer.
Strange trailer.
yeah, I hate it when they do the trailer.
That also makes me a little nervous, too, because it's like, they didn't do another teaser for what's going to... Right? Sony did a Venom teaser. Marvel didn't tease anything else with Spider-Man happening in the MCU. Like, so, you know, if they had teased something with any other Marvel character, you're like, oh, no, they're still in it. But they really set themselves up for, like, a decision point, you know, fork in the road.
At this point, I would, if I was Marvel, I would honestly like very publicly, like bring Tom Holland in to like cast him for a different MCU role or something like that.
Yeah.
Just be like, you know what, Sony,
That'd
we're
be
done,
wild.
and just like be super petty and public about it, just to have them be like, wait, no,
Like,
no,
hey,
no,
Tom
no.
Holland, do you want to be the face of the new Fantastic Four? You know, like, do you want to...
Do you want to be the new Mr.
Yeah.
Fantastic?
No, I was thinking he would be, who's the big rock guy?
The Thing.
Can you imagine Tom Holland as the Thing? That'd be awesome. Okay, I have one fun fact for you.
Oh, give it to me.
Did you know that Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio were, like, childhood friends?
No.
Like, they were both young actors at the same time. They were, like, homies. Like, they know each other. Saw some, like, video of them, like, both doing, like, press stuff in like, the early 90s. I was like, oh, this is wild.
I've got a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Did you know Tom Holland started filming this movie 2 days after he finished filming Uncharted, but this movie came out first?
Oh, that's wild. Oh, my gosh. Uncharted's happening soon, though, right? Like, Next few months.
Let's see. It says 2022. Let's see if it actually has a date on this one. Ooh, it's going. February 18th.
Wow.
You gonna watch Uncharted?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got AMC A-list, so why not?
I didn't know this, but now that I've read it, it blows my mind that I never noticed before, right? That Willem Dafoe wears prosthetic teeth as Norman Osborn and then takes them out and has this like normal straight teeth
Oh, that makes so
for
much
the
sense.
Green Goblin.
I saw that he would only agree to come back if he could do his own stunts. Wow. That was pretty cool. I mean, it was really cool to have all those villains back. I feel bad for the lizard guy though, because he's just like, he's from the Endergarfield, you know, like,
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're here too.
Well, so is Electro, which I like how, because everyone was all frustrated that they just turned Electro into like a blue lightning dude, and so in this one they had him in his like yellow suit with all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool, because that's basically like, it really felt like it was the MCU, like, we're gonna fix all of Sony's bungled villains.
Yeah.
And make them look cool and like more like how they like, even the Green Goblin has his more Green Goblin like without like the face mask that he's got
crazy elf,
the tattered hood.
What did he say? Something about an elf and then
Like a flying green elf man.
Yeah, so like he sounds jolly. Bring him or something, like, you know, like whatever. I don't know. It was good. I don't know. I loved. I thought it was really interesting. They ended the movie like with a will they won't they with MJ and Spider-Man. Bailey was so upset.
Oh, when he just walked away.
Yeah, he broke his promise. You know, she was so mad about it. How do you feel? Do you think Peter Parker? So Peter Parker had the choice, right? Because he decided to fix the problem by like, hey, everyone just forgets who I am, right?
Yeah.
That's how he fixed the issue. And MJ's like, hey, I love you. Don't sit back. Tell me when you find me, right? So he does find her. And he thinks about it, and he doesn't.
Yeah, because he sees her.
What should he have done?
Well, like, I understand the thinking behind having him not, because, you know, it's like he was going to, and then he sees like the Band-Aid over her. Like, he's like, oh, knowing me put her in danger, got her hurt, got her rejected from all of these schools. And then he just sees like, everyone forgot me, and she got accepted to the school, and everything's fine. Like, just because everyone forgot who I am, like, her life seems much better.
Yeah.
So I get that, where it's like, oh, you know, I'm going to not do. I'm not going to ruin your life, basically, is I'm sure how it, you know, that's what it seemed like how he sees it, that knowing him ruined their lives.
Yeah.
So he's going to just move on. I liked how they showed him with the blue sides and everything, like the more comic booky Spider-Man suit at the end that he made.
Yeah. Like the MJ thing, that was rough. That was so hard.
Yeah.
Like we finally, or not, what did I say?
MJ?
Did I say that thing? Aunt May is what I meant to say. The Aunt May stuff.
Aunt May.
It was so hard to watch Aunt May died. Oh. Marissa Tomei was here. She was here to stay. It was nice to have her around, you know?
But she had to do it. They're like,
sad.
They're like, haha, joke's on you. Uncle Ben's already dead. But somebody got to die. We all thought it was going to be Tony, but nope.
It was rough, man. Oh.
Now, I'm sure somebody had the idea at one point of having Iron Man deliver the line, like, as he's dying. But it just ended up with, like, how that scene was. It would have been weird.
Yeah.
To have him, like, focus on Peter when his wife, who's, like, pregnant with his child, or no, who has his child, like, the mother of his daughter is, like, right there. Be like, no, hold on, crazy Gwyneth Paltrow. Let me talk to Spider-Man for a second. You know? So, yeah. But
yeah.
I definitely, I think the line, as impactful as it would have been more like a, oh gosh, had they had him say it there at the end of like Endgame, like, remember Peter, with great power comes great responsibility, like showing like you might be faced with this choice one day. But instead, they did it to us. They killed Marissa Tomei.
Yeah. Here's what they should do.
It's okay, though, Cody. He's never coming back in the movies. So.
They should do the Gwen Stacy thing again. That's what they should do. Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, they could do a love triangle one now, if they wanted to, for like the next Spider-Man movie. You know?
Oh, like
or
have
they
him,
could even do a Spider-Man movie where he doesn't do, there's no romance, and then the fifth one could be like, hey, is there going to be a will they won't they with Gwen Stacy? You know, like, they could really do the whole thing, you know, if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But are they? But will they?
Who knows? I like that Doc Ock didn't, like, I thought they were going to fry his chip when Electro hits him, and I was like, gosh, freaking, I liked that he was still a good guy and, like, helping him. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I like that I feel like they just tied a bow on all the Peters, like, so well, you know, like, they redeemed Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Peter Parker, like, you know, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man helped Tom Holland, like, he's like, hey, like, I've been there, like, I've gone over the edge, and it does, you know, like, and I've regretted it, and it was so cool to see them, like, help each other work through their own issues, and that's why I think this was one of the best Spider-Man movies, because it's so much about, like, the growth of each character, even the villains, even the different Spider-Mans, and yeah, I just thought, like, as far as themes go, there were some really great lessons learned for all the characters.
Yeah. I like how they even, you know, because even Andrew Garfield got his moment where he's like, at one point, you know, I just stopped pulling my punches, you know, and then to have, I liked how they made Tobey Maguire Spider-Man be a little more like, I did more than just pull my punches. Like, I straight up set out to kill people, and I killed them multiple times. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't just let myself beat somebody to death because they wouldn't stop getting up. I killed my best friend kind of thing. And have him be like the old wizened Spider-Man to be like, no, trust me. This is the wrong way to do this.
Yeah.
Like him when he just stops him because he's about to kill him with the glider, which is exactly how Tobey Maguire killed him. And he just stops it and just looks at him. I was like, oh gosh, there's some feelings, Cody.
Yeah.
You feel it deep in your soul hole. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love the Peters talking to each other. What was the one? And Andrew Garfield's like hanging off the ceiling by hand. He's like, "See, Spider-Man." He's like, crawl all the way to the corner. Like, no, do the whole thing. He's like, really? This isn't enough.
It's like crawl.
The grandma's like, could you get the spider web like while you're up there? Could you cobweb? Could you, loved it.
Yeah. He's like, this is enough. Andrew Garfield's just like, he is the comic book quippy Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's great.
So he did not deserve the level of movie that he got. He
really didn't. I mean,
better movies.
And he's also like, I think of the three of them, he's probably the best actor. Like, he's an excellent actor. He's been in Academy Award nominated movies. So is Toby, but I'm just saying, like, he's such like a strong actor as well. The fact that he's that good of an actor, he does a great job with like the just the Spider-Man aspect of it too. Just like, man, this dude's like out here, and we just really gave him like the two mediocre Spider-Man movies, when he deserved more.
I still haven't seen the second Amazing Spider-Man because everybody always tells me it's such a train wreck of a movie.
See, I don't remember thinking it was that bad, but it wasn't as good as some of the other ones. Like, I don't think it was as bad as Spider-Man 3. I thought it was a little better than that. But, I mean, Andrew Garfield just does lift it so much because, like, I'm getting my Spider-Man fix. Like, so, yeah, the Electro stuff is kind of dumb, but I enjoyed Paul Giamatti's performance in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I really like Andrew Garfield going about his day doing his spider stuff. So, it's good for me.
Oh, yeah.
Just not as good, And that's the other thing. I feel like part of the problem with The Amazing Spider-Man, I think, was that they really tried to rush through. They're like, okay, Uncle Ben's here, Harry's here, we're here, we did it. Okay, we're back in Spider-Man. Whereas I feel like the Tom Holland one, they kind of had a chance to do it. They actually approached it differently. They're like, hey, Spider-Man's here. Look, it's Civil War. The heck? Isn't that cool? All right, we got to skip the origin story. Spider-Man's here. We skipped the Uncle Ben thing. Harry's not around. Like, they tried to do it different. Like, let's focus on Aunt May. Let's focus on, MJ isn't even like the love story of the first movie, So I feel like that was a much smarter way to do it, and it gave it more longevity versus being like, okay, you've already seen this, let's just quickly reboot it because we need to keep the rights to it. It felt like, hey, we have these constraints, so let's be creative about how we set up Spider-Man this time and do it differently so it's fresh and interesting.
Yeah. How do you feel about Doctor Strange kind of being the replacement for Tony Stark in like the mentor role to him?
I like the whole, like going back and because even is it Endgame or Infinity War where it's like I'm Doctor Strange, like, oh, we're using our made up names.
Yeah.
I'm Spider-Man, like Peter, Steven, like I love them going back and forth with their names, and he's like, that's weird, but I'll allow it, So I really, I don't know. I like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I thought it was good.
Did you see people were outraged that Benedict Cumberbatch showed up to the premiere dressed as Tony Stark, and then it cuts to a picture of him, and it's just Benedict Cumberbatch wearing sunglasses? It's like, no, that's just what Benedict Cumberbatch looks like. He has his beard cut because that's how Doctor Strange's beard looks, like with the same beard, and then he's wearing like rose-colored sunglasses, and I'm like, that's just Benedict Cumberbatch, I think, funny. Not really. So it's funny. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he was somebody who was considered to play Iron Man. So I mean, there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that was funny that people were outraged, and I'm like, okay, first off, he's basically the replacement for him in the MCU. Second off, it's not like he showed up wearing an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Also, it's not like Robert Downey Jr. actually died in that movie. Like, it's not like the real actor died.
Oh, right.
He's tainting a real person's memory. It's from a movie.
I don't think Robert Downey Jr. would, like, mind it all. Like, I think he's kind of over the Avengers thing. Like, isn't he kind of like Chris Evans? He's like, oh, man, how many more of these do I got to do? Like, am I out of here yet? Or Yeah.
He's like,
he's the one that got the biggest payout, too, because he was the ticket sales guy. Like, he got that in his contract, So it's like...
Yeah. It's like him and Kevin Feige are both super rich now, just off of Iron Man movies.
Yeah, it is interesting because since Endgame, we haven't done an ensemble movie yet, right? Like, we haven't seen what the new Avengers look like and how that's going to function. I think part of that's because of the pandemic, right? Because we would have had more movies come out more quickly.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see. There have been some, like, Black Widow was really good. Shang-Chi was great. This one, there have been some great Marvel movies that have come out. So I do just wonder, like, the new Guardians, the new Doctor Strange, like, at what point do we get back? Are they... I don't think they're going to be rushing to get back to, like, is there going to be Avengers Part 4, or is it going to be called something different? The Revengers, The Revengers. The Avengerators. Avengeful 7, there could be 7 of them in there. Be a tie-in with the band.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wonder what that's going to look like. What's the old MCU phase-in look like,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to, because it's like,
I'm also behind on all the TV shows too. So I don't know what's going on with that.
I know they came out and they were just like, all right, this like calendar we put out, just shove that 2 years down the line. Like, everything is moving, rather than trying to rearrange everything. Like, just move everything the same distance down the line. Basically, just take a break in the middle.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. We got Thor. I forgot about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, you did.
Taika Waititi's doing that one. That one's gonna be hot too. Then we got Black Panther. That one's gonna be interesting. And Moon Knight. Oh yeah. She-Hulk.
So excited for Moon Knight.
Wait, there's gonna be a Hulk movie?
Yeah. Hulk's still
wild.
around.
Right, but like, wasn't there a deal where Hulk couldn't get his own movie? That's why we didn't have a Hulk solo movie, like Incredible Hulk happened.
I think that was more.
There's never been a Hulk solo.
I think that was more of like a conspiracy theory,
Interesting.
kind of thing and less of a real thing.
Miss Marvel. What about the Marvels? 'Cause that one, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Is that part? Oh, there's a special that he's shooting while they're doing Guardians 3. There's a storytelling gap, but they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special on Disney Plus. That's interesting. Then there's the Marvels, which will be the next Captain Marvel one.
You think that one's gonna be good?
Then Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Here's the thing. I thought Captain Marvel was a great movie. Oh my gosh. I forgot. So it's the director who just did the new Candyman movie.
Which you liked.
And I really like Brie Larson, so I think it's going to be great. I have no reason to think that it wouldn't be great. Because it's also the writer of WandaVision. Okay. We got all the pieces there.
I felt like
3.
With Captain Marvel in the recent movies, they've tried so hard to like put her up as this like, look, we're inclusive of women, and they're like going overboard and too hard with it, where they're like, look, she's in the movie. Yeah, for 3 seconds on like a hologram where she's like, I have bigger stuff to worry about. Suck it, nerds. And I'm like, I hate this. I hate this character now. You've made me hate a character that I loved from her movie.
Yeah, her movie was great. So I don't know. They'll bring it back around. And Ant-Man Quantumania is next. X-Men 97 on Disney Plus.
I got a fun fact for you right now. So this is the 48th film to gross $1 billion worldwide, and the first film to do so since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, what happened?
So this is the 48th film to gross $1 billion.
Wow.
And the first one to do it since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Wow. It's been a couple of years since they hit that marker.
Yeah.
Marvel Zombies. I think that's a Disney Plus one. So this is like everything. It's not just the movies.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing an Agatha series, House of Harkness series.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Everyone gets a series.
Disney
Have you,
Plus.
okay.
They're doing too many series.
Since we're talking about series,
I just want to see them.
We've gone full Disney at this point. Thank you for that, Cody. Have you been watching Boba Fett? Tell me your thoughts on Boba Fett.
I haven't watched Boba Fett
You
yet.
fool. I hate you now, just so you know.
Oh, Blade. Remember Blade? That's going to come out one day. Fantastic Four, they're going to do some new Captain America thing. Deadpool 3. All right, so here's the thing about Boba Fett. I haven't seen it at all, and I saw one headline that was like, here's the thing, Boba Fett sucks. And then I've seen others that are like, isn't this nice? So, I don't know. Is it good?
It's so good.
Oh, cool.
It depends. Do you like...
I forgot that it came out, and I need to watch Loki still, and I need to watch...
Loki's better.
Hawkeye still.
I'll put it this way.
I've heard Loki's great.
Okay, of all the stuff, I've heard Hawkeye is as good, like up to par with Loki, but I haven't watched any of Hawkeye. Loki is on par with the movies in quality.
Oh, that's awesome. I've seen the first episode, and I did enjoy it. It's just hard for you. Here's the thing about Hawkeye. I'm a Haley Steinfeld stan. I'm all on board, all right? True Grit happened. She was in that one movie I really liked I made you watch, Edge of 17. I'm all in, all right? I'm all in on Haley Stein. Even though Pitch Perfect 2 sucked, I'm all in still, all right? So I need to watch Hawkeye.
This film is the fourth film to earn $1 billion without being released in China. The first three are Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Dark Knight, and The Joker.
So is it going to get a China release?
I don't think so. I think they're not going to like go out of their way, I think, to release it in China now.
But
that it's already out. Why didn't it get the China release?
Such a fat market. Why wouldn't you? Or is it just because you have to be so specific and like tailor the movie to China to get it into China?
Well, I think it's like if China's like, nope, can't release, I don't think you're going to change their minds, you know?
So crazy. So if this movie was released in China, would it have...
It'd probably be
all the
$2 billion, you know?
Man. Oh, man.
Which, yeah, what is the current record holder of the highest grossing movie?
Endgame, right? If you're not going off of...
Titanic changed it or something, I don't know. Oh, yeah, Gone with the Wind is still like the winner because it made $12.
If it's by if you adjust it for inflation, then it's probably still Gone with the Wind or Titanic.
Yeah, because that came out during the
Avatar.
Civil War and it made $17. I know I said $12 before.
So I don't know. I mean, if you're just doing straight dollar amount, it's still Endgame, right?
Let's see.
Or did the Avatar re-release put
Avatar re-release
Avatar?
is number one. So Avatar is number one.
It's obnoxious.
So Avatar is 28, not 28, 2.8 billion.
What's Endgame at?
Endgame is at almost 2.8 billion. It's literally like $50 million difference.
Oh my word!
No, wait, 150.
I'm just
No.
afraid because one day Avatar 2 is
50.
going to come out and you're going to make me watch it and I'm going to be mad about it.
Well, okay, let's put it this way.
For like 5 minutes for a scene.
Let's put it this way, Cody. Cody, come in closer. The Matrix came out, Cody. Matrix 4.
Okay. Did you watch it?
We need to watch all of the Matrix movies now.
Oh, here's the thing.
No.
I tried to watch Matrix with you in theaters, all right? And you bailed, all right? You left me behind.
What? When?
And it
Just
was-
now? I'll
No,
have you
2
know.
years ago, they did the 20th anniversary release, and I was like, hey, we're seeing Matrix Wednesday night, whatever. Here are my seats. And then something happened you didn't show, all right?
Yeah.
And it was...
I don't watch
and I kid
R-rated
you not.
movies, Cody.
It was the best, most 90s experience I've ever had. I was like, this is amazing. It was so great to see Matrix in theaters.
Cody, I don't watch R-rated movies. Now let's watch all the Matrix movies and review them.
I don't want to watch Matrix 2 or 3.
You have
I
to.
really don't.
They're
I
the
don't
best
want to.
ones.
I've heard people really rail on 4, but it got a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for the Wachowskis is like getting a B+, right?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for them to merge into one, you know? And then it's going to be like, we are now Wachowski.
They are the Wachowski.
We are no longer the Wachowski brothers, sisters, or Wachowskis. We are one Wachowski now.
What I find funny is the drop off. So Avengers Infinity War is the fifth ranked movie, right?
Yeah.
At just over $2 billion.
Right.
Number 6 is Jurassic World at $1.6 billion.
Oh,
So there's a $400 million drop off there,
that's crazy.
which is almost as big as between Avengers Endgame and Titanic, which is an almost $600 million drop off.
Oh, man. James Cameron. Jim. Well, we talked a lot. And I don't even think we talked that much about the goings on of this movie, but it was fantastic.
It's a good movie.
What are we missing? Like, what did I not hit on?
Everything.
Ned's the guy. I love how Ned gave him up right away when they're like doing the investigation. He's like, I'm just like his guy in the chair. He's like, oh, you're the guy in the chair. You know, and like they're going, it's like, oh, Ned, you're talking.
Yeah.
Bad job.
So in his vigilante activities, you're his main accomplice. I'd like my words stricken from the record.
So good. Oh man.
What? Did you know Twilight was considered an indie studio release?
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
These are just things I'm learning, Cody. And you're here with me for this moment, and I appreciate you.
Okay. Do you want a bonus movie review?
Oh, give it to
Are
me.
you ready?
Yes.
It's a bonus. I told you I had a date with myself to watch Licorice Pizza,
How was it?
which is a movie I think you can only see in major cities, I think. Let me tell you, it turned into a date with my wife to see Licorice Pizza. I convinced my wife to see a Paul Thomas Anderson movie in theaters. That's right. The same guy who made There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread, a fan favorite from this one.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you, I loved it. Like top 5 movies of 2021 for me. It was fantastic. I think I told you would like it. You would like some of it. It was great. So good. I think it's the best Paul Thomas Anderson movie because it's the only one that's almost like a normal movie, you know? Because all the other ones are like, all right, Daniel Day-Lewis, he's an oil baron, and watch him go crazy for 2 hours.
Okay.
You know?
Is
Phantom
Daniel
Thread's
Day-Lewis
like,
in
all
it?
right, Daniel Day-Lewis is designing dresses, and watch him go crazy for 2 hours, you know? And this one is like, here's a boy in the early 70s in Los Angeles. and he got a crush on this girl who's too old for him. And look at their hijinks. It's great. It's so good. Like, all his movies get real serious and dry for a long time, and this one like is like actively funny. Like, it's a very enjoyable film. It's delightful.
Cody,
Just a little
there's only one
slice
Paul
of life
Anderson.
picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's only one Paul Anderson that I watch.
The guy who made Mortal Kombat.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul W.S. Anderson, the Mortal Kombat / Resident Evil guy.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good dude. I mean, look, if you want your son or daughter to get into filmmaking, I recommend naming them Paul Anderson. Put whatever initials you want, but definitely Paul and definitely Anderson. Seems to be a recipe for success.
Oh, yeah.
Another one you can do, Steve McQueen. That is also a good option. For it, regardless of ethnicity, all right? That's what's cool about that one.
Yeah.
Do you know about the two Steve McQueens?
One of them's got the stage name, right? And it's like, who's Steve McQueen? And then it's like, Jared Leto is Steve McQueen or something, right?
Well, there's one who did motorcycle action movies like Bullet and did all his own stunts and died in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
And he's white. And then there's a black one who directed 12 Years a Slave.
Oh.
So, and they're both named Steve McQueen. And I don't know how that's allowed because I thought, according to film rules, if you have the same name as someone, they make you change your name. Or you have to be Stephen McQueen or, like Steve P. McQueen or whatever.
Was the other guy
I don't know how they got away
back?
with that one.
Is he not in the annals of
I don't even know how that works.
the guild?
Anyway, Licorice Pizza was delightful. I loved it. Bradley Cooper. Okay. I'll give you my trivia for Licorice Pizza.
Give it to me.
So, here's what's cool about Licorice Pizza.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper shows up playing the real life person, John Peters, who was a producer, a Hollywood producer. His girlfriend was Barbra Streisand, and he produced A Star Is Born in the 70s. Bradley Cooper then went on, he directed and wrote and starred in A Star Is Born, the Lady Gaga one recently. And originally it was supposed to be Leonardo DiCaprio, who we already talked about in this episode. Leonardo DiCaprio was like, sorry, I did want to do this movie with Paul Anderson, but I actually am doing this movie with Guillermo del Toro instead. Anyway, Leonardo DiCaprio backed out. Like, something happened. There's some conflict, so he couldn't do it. So now Bradley Cooper is also in that movie, which is called Nightmare Alley with Guillermo del Toro. So basically, Bradley Cooper's doing this really cool thing where he just takes whatever roles Leonardo DiCaprio can't do, and I'm all here for it because let me tell you, Bradley Cooper in Licorice Pizza was the greatest comedic performance I've ever seen. All right, he was a force. I cracked up. No one in the theater was laughing much. I died. All right, these are like Dark Knight Joker, me laughing at Heath Ledger saying things that I shouldn't laugh at. That was where I was at. All right, I loved it. Bradley Cooper's the man. So that's where I'm at. So if you hear about Leonardo DiCaprio being rumored for any roles, just slide into Bradley Cooper's DMs so we can nab him.
So you can snipe him.
Oh yeah. So,
do you want a mini movie review, Cody?
Yeah.
Tiffany made me watch The Proposal this last week.
Oh, the Ryan Reynolds one
Oh yeah.
with Sandy Bullock.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, I've seen it before, but she hadn't. She's just had the movie described to her by her sister.
Okay, what's the review?
She liked it.
Wow, that was a classic. That was like Sandy Bullock's year because she was in The Blind Side and The Proposal and something else. She was in like 3 big movies in 1 year.
Yeah.
Sandy B.
I don't like Sandra Bullock. That's the takeaway from that. I don't think she's a likable person. I don't think even at her most likableness, I don't think she comes across as very likable.
Well, that's why I think The Proposal is a good role for her because she's like the uppity person in that one. You know, Ryan Reynolds is delightful.
He is delightful. He's delightful in everything. Here's what I told her.
Did you see Red?
I
Red Notice?
I have not.
Red Notice?
I need to watch it. But I told her while we were watching The Proposal, I was like, here's a fun fact for you. Here's a hot take for you. Not really a fun fact, but it is a fact. All right. Ryan Reynolds is so far out of Sandra Bullock's league that it's ridiculous.
Love him.
There's only one person in Ryan Reynolds' league, and that's Ryan Gosling.
Oh. Oh, man. Could you imagine Ryan squared?
Every
Ryan
day
Johnson
I
would do a
imagine.
biopic of it. Oh, Ryan cubed. Collabing on a project. Love it.
Who'd you
All
say would do
about
the biopic? Cody?
Ryan Johnson would direct a biopic
Okay, good.
about Ryan squared.
I was hoping you said a different Ryan because I was going to say Ryan Johnson.
Ah,
But then you already said it, so.
man. I love Spider-Man. This
It was
was
good.
a great Spider experience for old fans, for new. Here's the thing. I talked to my cousin about the movie because she saw it. My cousin Jessica. Let's call her cousin Jessica. She said, she was like, that was a good movie. I've actually never seen any of the Spider-Man movies leading up to this one. I was like, what are you talking about? She went and saw this. She didn't see what, 7 Spider-Man movies and then just decided to see this one. She was like, I really enjoyed it. It made me want to go back and watch the other ones. I really like those other guys as Spider-Man.
And you were just like, oh no.
Like, what are you talking about, lady? It's crazy because she's older. Like, she is the age where she should have seen those Spider-Man movies. She was born like late 80s, peak millennial, you know? So there you go. Even cousin Jessica liked it. She hasn't seen a Spider-Man movie before. She thought it was great. So there you go.
So what would you rate
Got the
movie?
review?
We got to
Whoa.
give it the letter grade rating, Cody.
A letter grade?
You started the letter grade.
Here's
Don't
the
come at
thing,
me
it's
shocked.
like near perfect. I would almost like it's up there. It's like I had such a joyful experience watching it. My problems with it were around like the stingers mostly. So it's hard to even fault it because it was so good. Is this the first A plus?
I'm trying to think of a reason to not give it the A plus. Because like if
The
you
themes were so strong, the humor was great, the action was good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be an A pluser?
I'm trying to think of were there any jokes that didn't land? Were there any like
No. Even like the joke where it was just Hannibal Buress standing there next to the stupid trophy case they made for him. I was like,
like
this is
Mysterio was right?
fantastic.
You're murdering.
No.
Just like casually calling him a murderer. I was like, what? And they're like, shut up, stop it.
Oh man. I'm gonna give it an A plus. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in. I'm all in on this movie.
I'll give it a C. No. I can't think of a reason to not give it an A plus, so I'll give it an A plus too. It'd be the first one.
Wow. Feels good, you know? Feels good to sit here. I'm gonna watch this movie again next week. I'm gonna do it. I think I know what I'm gonna do for date night on Monday. I think it's gonna be this movie again.
Oh.
That's what I'm gonna do.
It's also, we went Saturday night to downtown Boston, which I have avoided doing because I'm like, I don't want to deal with the traffic. And it was not that bad. We parked right across the street from the theater. It's like middle of the city street. So it's like you just walk across the street. It's not super, like, there's like a police barricade to keep a ton of cars from going into the street because it's mostly for walking to the shops and stuff. So I was like, okay, so now we're going to start going to the theater more often.
Yeah, that's good.
Instead of the dine-in where I spend like $80 on food every single time we go.
Love it.
I will say this, Cody, this tainted it. This almost brought it down from an A+. The pickup window is just another random part of the counter that says pickup.
What?
So there is no like, let me walk up to the little cubicle, little cubby holes and grab my order of food that I got.
You have to go and bug someone to get your order?
Yes.
Or is it just sitting on a counter?
Well, so they have popcorn just sitting on the counter that says grab and go, which you can just walk up, grab popcorn, and walk
And
away.
go.
You don't have to.
Wow.
There's no. You're supposed to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it, is what I'm saying.
Man. I had a lot going against this movie because I went to the bathroom and then they were out of hand sanitizer. They're like, I don't know what's going on with AMC and their Coca-Cola Freestyle, but like their Coke doesn't taste like Coke anymore. I don't know what's happening. Like it always tastes like the syrup's just about to run out, you know, and I don't know how to fix it. Like I don't know how to make it better. And then they were fixing one of the machines and the other machine was out of ice. And then the other one, the syrup. So I was like, I can't find a machine to get soda out of. It was I like told someone that your bathroom's out of like soap, and they were like, they weren't sure what to do with the information. I was like, look, I don't need to have a conversation with you. I'm just letting you know so you can let anyone know that there's a pandemic happening and there needs to be soap. Like it was quite a thing. It was an ordeal, I would say.
Yeah.
And this movie, still an A+.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give the theater a B, but I'll give the movie an A+.
Agree. Here, here. Oh, thank you for listening. You can leave a review or share us wherever you find your podcast. Apple Podcasts. Whatever.
Others.
What else are we on? Spotify?
We're on everything.
Oh, yeah. Everything. And you can yell at us at Opinion Havers on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're posting memes. We're waiting for you to yell at us. We're waiting for you to tell us what movies to watch. And that's about it. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Watch movies.
And have opinions.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought you were going to say the first part. I think the episode's over. I think
it's over. It's over.
You broke me.
Yeah.
How?
I tore you down.
What did you do?